K2C Audit Management Solution is a suite of modular applications designed to manage audits received by third-party health agencies, customers or other organizations, supplier qualification audits, internal audits of business processes and quality systems, audits to clinical study sites, audits on documentation, something similar to a documented review or verification of the compliance of the document to outstanding regulation requirements. All these type of audits can be managed with K2C solution in their full life cycle, including a risk-based approach, the annual or periodical audit plan, the identification of findings or observations, the write-up of audit reports, the definition of corrective and preventive actions, the implementation and verification of corrective actions, the final status of audited party or process. The module dedicated to received audits allows to manage a master list of auditing parties, based on which we can have a control of the history of audits we received from a customer, health authority, or our organization. We start from auditing scheduling, then we can upload audit reports and related findings one by one in order to track the management of the same with adequate CAPA. Each finding is kept under control, classified according predefined and risk-based criteria that facilitate and standardize the classification of the observations we received. Supplier Qualification and Audit Management module allows to manage the full qualification process, starting from the entry in the supplier inventory list and the determination of initial or potential risk level. As our organization may need to plan several audits per year, our solution offers the possibility to automate the definition of the annual or periodical audit plan that can be generated on request. The solution defines the plan from the current or from the next year considering our budget or limited capabilities to perform a given number of audits per year, for instance 15. Therefore, the solution will allocate 15 audits per year, giving priority or due date to the more critical suppliers. Due date can be changed, providing a justification, and when ready, the plan can be submitted for approvals of outstanding process owners and, of course, of QA heads. The approved plan is frozen and can be compared later on with the current status of executed audits. Each audit can be assigned to an auditor, internal or external, and can be managed online entering the exact planned dates. A due date is corresponding to the end of each year. A planned date can be, for instance, 10 of September 2022. The auditor can create online the audit agenda using a predefined template. At the audit time, he or she can enter online the findings of the audit, then generating the audit report. Each finding is managed as a single record, but also automatically imported into the audit report that can be electronically approved. If an approved audit report contains findings, these can be managed online by defining appropriate corrective and preventive actions that are usually agreed with the audited party. These CAPA are traced and fully managed online up to the final assessment of post-CAPA criticality. The supplier criticality is classified 3 times: before the audit as a potential criticality, at approval of audit report. This can be, for instance, qualified ad interim in case some finding might be mitigated by corrective and preventive actions, and after the completion of CAPA. Clinical site audits are something special because rarely we can perform audits on the full list of sites being part of a clinical study. Therefore, we need a method to assess the criticality at 2 levels: criticality of each clinical study, criticality of each clinical site in the specific study. For instance, our organization may have a policy defined to determine how many sites should be audited for a given study, depending on the criticality level of this study. Assuming we need to audit the 20% of sites for a given study basing on these criteria, the system determines which are the sites to be audited, again basing on their criticality level. The most critical ones are selected. As we have seen for other audit modules, also here is possible to automate the audit planning, scheduling audits for upcoming years basing on process criticality. The priority is given to the most critical ones. Again, we can execute each audit, planning the exact date, preparing the audit report by entering first each finding, tracing and managing each finding with appropriate CAPAs. Audit of internal processes need to ensure the compliance status respect to regulations and our quality system standards. First, K2C module allows to manage the inventory of processes in our organization. Each process might be governed by a specific quality system, for instance, GCP, GVP, GMP, or even multiple ones. As our quality system must be compliant, the processes under this must be compliant as well. The system allows to manage the status of a process that is customizable as per own policies. The compliance status of a process might be new entry, fully compliant, compliant under monitoring, not compliant. The default compliance status of a new process is new entry. This status can be only updated by the means of audits and, in case of findings, of CAPA. As we have seen for other audit modules, also here is possible to automate the audit planning, scheduling audits for upcoming years basing on process criticality. The priority is given to the most critical ones. Again, we can execute each audit, planning the exact date, preparing the audit report by entering first each finding, tracing and managing each finding with appropriate CAPAs. The result of audit and CAPA, if finding observed, is the change of process status. Documental audits are something similar to a formal review assisted by online tools to a given document. Sometimes, for some documents, this task is specifically required by regulations. Third-party auditors may ask the documented evidence that this was done, a digitally documented evidence in our case. All K2C audit modules are prepackaged as core functionalities but customizable according to company policies or standards. Thank you for your interest. Please contact us for more information or to schedule a full demo.